What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to take you through what I carry in my trapping bag when I'm out cage trapping here in Arizona. If you see something in this bag that you think I could improve on or that I am missing and you think I should add to, go ahead, drop a comment down below and let me know about it. I love to hear from you guys. I love seeing your comments. I always enjoy interacting with you guys and going back and forth. I always try and answer everybody's comments, so please drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, continue to watch throughout this video. I'm going to announce the winners, or the winner from last week's drawing. Like I said, I was going to do a giveaway from last week for that gland lure that I made. So stay tuned for that, and we'll announce that winner later on in this video. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so let's start off with the most important thing, one of the most important things you've got with your bag, and that is the bag itself. You want to make sure you get a good sturdy bag. I picked this one up from Harbor Freight. It's the Voyager bag. It's got a big open space in the middle, but you can see on the sides it's got a bunch of little pockets. And I use those pockets to organize all my tools and everything else. It also has 3 outer pockets on either side, and then at either end it's got some big pockets for other items as well. So what do I put in my bag here? This bag's real cheap. Like I said, got them at Harbor Freight. I'm not affiliated with them, but that's where I buy a lot of my stuff for trapping because it's super cheap, but they're solid tools that you can get there. And if this bag does get destroyed after a few years, it'll be really cheap and easy to replace. So what do I put in this bag? One big thing I always carry in my bag is a big roll of baling wire. I use this for hanging baits in the back. You can use it for cage repair. You can pretty much use it for all kinds of things. It comes in super handy. Put new trap tags on your cages, everything else. Really good handy thing to have in your bag. Speaking of trap tags, I always carry extra tags with me on the line. I've had cats tear up cages. I've had raccoons get all curious around the outside of the cage and rip tags off, all kinds of things. So I always bring extra tags with me out on the line. These are just the Embasso tags. You can get them on Amazon. I'll drop a link down below for these as well. But yeah, they're just the Embasso tag industrial data markers. They work really good. You just take out the tag, put your information on it, whatever your state requires. Different states require different things. Arizona, all we have to do is put our trapper ID number on this tag. That is it. Other states require a lot more information, so just make sure you're following your state regulations when it comes to tags. But I always carry extra tags with me on the line to replace ones that get tore up on the line. Another thing I bring out on my line is my trapping hammer. I made this one myself because it was super cheap and easy to do. All I did was take a 3-pound sledge and weld a nice big old piece of steel on top and put a nice little angle on it with the grinder. I'm gonna have to touch that up this year because I beat the heck out of it over the last season. As you can see, it's very rounded off now, but it still works great. It's got some good weight to it and digs really well. Digs into the dirt if it does freeze. We did have a freeze last year. Even in southern Arizona, it does get cold enough for it to freeze. So we have that with us. So good solid hammer. Again, super cheap. Bought that at Harbor Freight. I think I picked it up for like $5, and then I just welded on a piece of steel that I had laying around. Another really important thing to have, especially for cage trapping, is a good pair of needle nose pliers. And I get the extended ones. It helps, it gives me a little bit more reach because I'm a short dude and I got short arms. So I can't reach all the way to the back of the cage all the time to put hang baits or hang little attractants and things like that in the back of the cage. So a good pair of long needle nose pliers comes in super, super handy. So we have a set of those in there. Along with our wire, we also have wire cutters. Those always come in handy. So I'll put a set of them in. Pair of pliers to make any adjustments to cages if I need to. If I need to tighten a bolt or something like that. I can do that with a pair of pliers. Fix a little bit of the cage wire. If I'm fixing a hole in a cage from a coyote or something tearing up the side of a cage. I've had one cat try and tear up the side of a cage and had to fix it with some the baling wire and a pair of pliers. And I was able to do that right out there on the line and just continue on trapping. In that cage, just put it right back into service and keep it going. So, good pair of pliers that are sturdy, good thing to have out on the line as well. And again, each of these can go in an individual pocket. There's 8 pockets in total inside this bag, so there's lots of space. Another really good thing to have out on the line is a good pair of little shears here, little tree shears, hand ones. I've seen some guys carry the bigger loppers. I don't carry those just because they're big and bulky, and I don't want to carry a big bulky pair of loppers, but you can. But I just like a good solid pair of shears. They do a great job. Another thing I always carry is just a pair of scissors. They just come in handy for little weird things. If I'm trimming up some of the different items I use for attracting bobcats into the cages and everything. I've got a whole bunch of them down here. I'll show you those in a second. But good pair of scissors always comes in handy as well. Another thing you're going to want to have is just, I just use a pencil. You can just use a little roller, ballpoint pen or something like that, but have something out on the line. You got to be able to tag your, in Arizona we have to tag our cats before we transport them. We have to put a little transport tag on them. And then we take them back and everything else, but you got to fill out that tag for each cat and put it on the cat. So I bring those, but I also always have a pencil with me. And that stays in the bag. It also works for writing up new tags if I have to replace tags on the cages. Another thing I always carry at least 2 sets of is some gloves, good sturdy leather gloves, and some mechanics gloves. Again, pick these ones up at Harbor Freight. They're cheap, and I've got like a 50% off little thing in the mail and bought them at Harbor Freight, and they work great. So, good sets of gloves. Put them in the bag. They always come in handy, especially down here in the desert. We're dealing with all kinds of stuff like cactus and everything else that tear up your hands. Some sort of sifter, always good to have out on the line, whether you're foothold trapping or cage trapping, but we use it a lot in cage trapping, just to sift in the dirt over top the cage as a walkway for inside the cage. I did do a video on this before. I'll drop a link for that video down below, so check that one out on how I set up my cages. But using a sifter like this, it fits right down inside the cage like this, and I can just sift out the dirt all over the cage wire so that they're not walking on cage wire, and it covers everything up real good and gives the animals a nice spot to walk into the cage, and they don't realize they're walking into a cage. So a good sifter is always good to have. Along with that, another thing I carry is some roofing shingles. The roofing shingles, again, in the video I did before, you'll see it. These you just lay them on inside the cage. This goes up over the pan, so say this one was the pan. This would kind of lay on top of it just like that. And then the dirt and everything would go over top of the roofing shingle. This keeps dirt from getting into that hinge point on the pan and keeps it from binding up and rocks getting underneath and all that kind of stuff. So it just makes a nice natural grade for the animals to walk across, and they don't realize they're stepping on a pan, and then they trigger the trap. So I'll bring some extras of these because over time, if you get a few catches in one of your cages, they will get torn up and broken apart and everything else. And so just having some spares with me out on the line when I walk up to the cage, if it needs to be replaced, I can replace it really quick without having to go all the way back to the Jeep and then all the way back out to my cages again. Not only that, but then it draws less attention because I'm not going back and forth from my vehicle to where the traps are. So if you trap around a lot of people and you're trying to be kind of incognito, good way to do it is just make sure you have your stuff with you when you get out to the cage. Another thing I carry out on the line, I just have this little bag. It's just some fluff. It's cotton, synthetic cotton, and I just put that in the back of the cage. just a little duff pile kind of thing in the back, and then I put some scents and lures and things like that on it, and it just holds that smell and everything in the very back of the cage and helps draw in the animals. Just kind of give them a little something to look at down at the bottom of the cage. Great thing to have in the bag. I also have a lot of my attractors and everything from last season. I saved them all because they still have a whole lot of that good smell on them. These little Christmas ball things that we found at Target were absolutely amazing. I just pulled this one out and it still stinks like cat pee. But they hold the smells really, really well. You can run a piece of baling wire through them super easy and just hang them in the back of the cage so they'll kind of swing and draw attention. They've got this sparkly stuff all over them. I put them straight in the back of the cage, just on the ground. They work great. They hold a lot of the scent, and they also draw a lot of attention. They're real good and sparkly. Same thing with little pipe cleaners. The sparkly decorative pipe cleaners work really well. For all the kind of stuff you want to hang in the back of your cage, the dollar store is your friend. Just hit up a Dollar General or something like that in your area. There's all kinds of great stuff you can get there, so check it out. Maybe I'll do a video in the future of going over to the dollar store and just buying some new trapping stuff for hanging in the back of cages. But all this stuff, just put it in a gallon Ziploc bag, pop it right into my trapping bag. I've got that with me at all times. Another thing I keep in my trapping bag, and I don't have a new bottle of acetone right now because the last one I did have, the cap got unscrewed a little bit and it dried out. So I have to buy a new bottle of acetone. But I bought a Barker's Skunk Sleeper. Real simple device, just this little two-piece aluminum device here, and it just screws together. You have your syringe, pop it apart, put your syringe on top, screw this thing together, syringe goes back on. You put the acetone in it with a syringe on it. I'm not going to put the syringe on it right now, but it comes with extra syringes. This one comes with 2 syringes, 3 needles, and the little device, and this just screws onto a painter's pole like this, and then you can just poke it into the skunk and put them to sleep. Super easy device to use, really simple concept, works great, especially if you're a cage trapper. Something like this could come in really handy if you end up catching skunks or you're targeting skunks on purpose. Good little device, works really well. I have used it with varied success. I'm still learning to keep the skunks a little bit calmer. Got partially sprayed by one, but being able to have the painter's pole and everything else gave me enough distance and enough of an angle that the skunk didn't really spray me, and I was still able to extract a whole lot of the essence as well. Which apparently this year, from what I've been hearing, skunk essence and skunks are going to be kind of some decent money makers this year. So something to look into, think about keeping them, and finding a good way to deal with the skunks on the line might be the way to go. All right, guys, giveaway time. There were 15 of you that commented on last week's video. Again, you have to be subscribed, so make sure that you are subscribed. I will be checking that. We're going to do the giveaway right now, so here we go. As you can see, got everybody's names right here. And we're going to go to spin. Got everybody's names right here. And let's see who wins that bottle of Bobcat Gland. Scott Newby, N-E-W-B-Y. So go ahead and get a hold of me. Congratulations, Scott. Make sure you get a hold of me on Instagram. I'll put the link for my Instagram account down below. and we'll get linked up, and I'll get that bobcat gland over to you. Congratulations, and thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you everybody for playing. I really appreciate it. Now back to the rest of the program. Then I have my bait bag. It's just a little, looks like a little fanny pack kind of thing. I think I got this in a white elephant Christmas exchange, actually. It works fantastic for all my baits. I just got a pouch here on the side, holds a still got some Minnesota brand predator bait in there from last season. I used that a little bit. Got an empty jar of paste bait. Need to buy some more of that for this season. I've got a lot of stuff I need to order. I've got my Dunlap lure, lightning in a bottle, about a third of that one left. I'm probably gonna have to buy some more of that this year. One of my favorite things I used last year is the Lennon's Bobcat Super All Call. I caught most of my bobcats using this stuff last year, along with some of the gland bait stuff that I had made. But between this and the gland bait, worked really good. Caught a lot of cats. Lennon's Bobcat Super All Call, great stuff. So worth checking them out. I always carry a little jar of bobcat urine in there. Got some in there from last year. You can pick this stuff up. I just extract it on my own as I go. I've got a whole nother jar of it in the fridge, ready to go for this season. But that's just something you just use a little syringe and needle. You can extract it from your cats from their bladder. As long as they're still full, sometimes they'll pee in the cage, sometimes they won't. But if they've got a full bladder, you can extract that and keep the urine for other cages throughout your season, and then you don't have to buy it. I just fill up little squirt bottles and little bottles like this and fill them up as the season progresses, and I just keep it in a fridge. It keeps it fresh, and you can continue to use it season after season. And then this, what's nice about this, it can go in the bag right on top. I can still grab the handles, carry the whole bag, or I can just carry that in separate, just kind of depending on if I'm just running in and reluring or rebaiting a cage, and I know there's no animals in it. I can just run in, rebait it really quick, relure it, and just take this. I'm not carrying the big bag with me, or if I have something in there, then I can take the whole bag with me. The only other thing that I carry out on the line, other than this stuff here, is my catch pole. Used this one for a few years now. It's getting pretty beat up. It's just a piece of conduit, a clothesline stopper that I picked up at Ace Hardware, and some metal cable. Again, picked that up at Ace Hardware. Just a little pull tab here. There's a ton of videos on YouTube on how to make these. And you can make them for super cheap, way cheaper than you can buy most of them out there. You can probably buy some for like $5-10, but they're probably not all that good of quality. This one I spent less than $10 on, and I've had it for 2 years, beat the crap out of it, and it still works great. May have to adjust the wire a little bit. I'll probably cut it and just shift it in. But it still works great. Great little dispatch pole, good catch pole, works awesome. Highly recommend getting one of these. Some states, depending on what you're doing, depending on your state, check your requirements, because some states require you to have these. Arizona, if you're foothold trapping, you're required to have one. If you're cage trapping, you aren't required to have one. I always carry one. They come in super handy. So a good catch pole is always a good thing to have. Alright guys, so that's what I put in my trapping bag. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got a lot more great videos coming your way, so you don't want to miss them. If you haven't already, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you put in your trapping bag, and if you guys see anything in mind that you think I could add to or even make better, let me know. I'd love to check it out. Until next time, we'll catch you down the line.